What's up, everyone? My name is Blue, and we are back with some more Entitled Parents posts. These parents think the world belongs to them, and you are just a player in their game. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. And with that, let's get into it. I want this pickup spot. Move! It all started with a simple Target order. I forgot to get spinach and shaving cream during my regular weekly grocery order, and Target has the easiest pickup for just a couple of items, so I placed my order with a few extras and happily drove to pick it up. Our Target has a sign by the pickup spots asking people to limit one car per spot. They're drive-through spots, so technically each pickup spot takes up 2 regular spots. I'm home during the day, so it wasn't busy when I arrived to pick up my order. All of the spots were open, so I pulled into the one closest to the store and hit the I arrived button in my Target app. Less than a minute after I pulled into the spot, Entitled Mom comes driving up. She surveys all of the other 7 available pickup spots, drives past them, and chooses to attempt to pull into the spot I'm in, with the sign asking guests to each use an individual spot for pickup orders for enhanced social distancing, access to guests' trunk, and better traffic flow in clear view. I was not pulled up far enough in the spot for her to fit behind me, so she decided to start blasting her horn. I rolled down my window, pointed at the sign, and continued to wait. She continued with the horn for about 2 minutes. Unfortunately, it was taking an abnormal amount of time for them to bring my order out. I decided to attempt to stop Entitled Mom's outrageousness by pulling into the next spot over. Instead of just pulling forward, Entitled Mom proceeds to follow me into my new spot, pulling so close to my car that I'm pretty sure she was centimeters from touching my back bumper. She proceeds to start blasting the horn again while adding in rude hand gestures. Fortunately for me, a Target employee finally came out. When I rolled down my window to verify my order number, Entitled Mom proceeds to start screaming from her car that she has a sleeping baby in the car and she needs her order first. She yelled that since she was pulled up behind me and the employee couldn't access my trunk, they needed to go get her order first. Luckily, another employee came out with Entitled Mom's order and started loading it up as she was threatening. The employee helping me kept apologizing, and we both quietly agreed to have her just wait to put it in my car until Entitled Mom was gone to avoid her doing something stupid. I'm sure the blasting horn did wonders for the sleeping baby's restful sleep. I feel bad for that baby. They're gonna have to grow up with that mom, because this will not be the last time that she's a nutcase. You're not allowed to have your computer that we didn't pay at all. While reading some of the posts here, that reminded me of a story with my parents that happened a few years ago. Sorry the background is long, but I feel it's necessary. Too long didn't read at the bottom. The cast: me, ED, entitled Dad, my dad, ESM, entitled Stepmom, my dad's wife. For the background, this story happened 2 years after I graduated high school. After I graduated, I decided to go to study in another city than my parents, so I had to rent an apartment. Despite the fact that they were wealthy enough and that school and high school went perfectly fine, no doubt that I was graduating. My parents, and especially my entitled stepmom, refused to pay for my apartment. I had no money whatsoever, so my grandparents intervened and decided to pay for the rent each month. The only money I was getting from my parents was my mother's alimony paid to my dad because I was still a student. I'm a gamer and a nerd, and at that time I was playing World of Warcraft. Still am to this day. But I was playing with a crappy laptop that was getting slower and slower. An in-game friend of mine in my guild, who I became quite close friends with, bought me a computer and surprised me with it when I invited him for a LAN with other friends from the same guild. I was ecstatic and so grateful for this. Now, on to the story. 2 years pass and I graduate from a 2-year diploma. I decided to pursue an engineering school, and the one I got into was in another city, so I had to move out. As I had 2 months before starting school again, I moved all my belongings into my parents' garage, including the said computer. My dad knew I had it because I had already told him about it. Never told entitled stepmom because it was pointless to me. The next day, I went to have some holiday weeks at my grandparents' holiday house. While on the train, I received a message from both my parents, ED and ESM, and this conversation happened. ED and ESM. What the hell is that computer in the garage? Me. Well, it's my computer. ED and ESM. How did you get it? With what money? Me. A friend gifted it to me. Already told Dad about it. ED and ESM. That's a BS story. At that point, I'm getting really frustrated, so I tell them they can call me when I arrive home. A few hours after, I'm at my grandparents and they call me. The exact same conversation ensues, and they do not believe me how I got that computer. So my entitled dad has the bright idea to ask that friend to give me the invoice of the computer. It was a pre-built tower, so he could trust me. I contact that friend to know if that's possible to have the invoice, and I was so embarrassed to ask him because I told him the exact reason I needed it. He said no problem and sent it to me, so I sent it to my dad. I thought they were convinced, but they were still scolding me for having that computer. Fast forward a few weeks, and I'm back at my parents' because I need to move for engineering school. I try to pack my things, but they refuse to let me get back my computer. At that point, I'm 21 years old, I'm making my own money because my engineering school was an apprenticeship, so I was student and employee. Me. You can't possibly tell me to leave it here. You didn't even pay for it. ED and ESM. We don't care. You're not taking your gaming computer for school. No point in arguing, so I went away without it. Unfortunately for them, I try hard to get things I want. I knew they were going away for vacations somewhere around the world in December. So what I did before they left, I ordered a new computer case and asked a friend of mine if she could send me her old spare parts. I knew she had some because a few months before, I gave her some parts because I upgraded my computer. While my parents were away, I went to my parents, brought the new case and the old parts, and installed the old parts in the old case, and transferred my computer parts into the new case. I left the old case in the garage and took my computer to my place. It has been a few years now, and I have been authorized to have my computer back. They still don't know. Too long didn't read. My parents that never helped me whatsoever after I graduated high school refuse that I take to my place my computer that a friend bought for me. Edit. Well, I made my parents sound way worse than they are. It was more of an isolated episode, and my relationship with them has greatly improved over the past 3 years. But I won't forget that. Little did our OP know that their parents were avid World of Warcraft players, some of the best in the world, and that's why they needed the computer. Entitled kid made to eat table. This happened years ago when the final Harry Potter book came out. It being a Saturday, my mom let me go get it at midnight. Being 15, my mom sat in the car to wait and gave me her card. I got into line minutes before Entitled Kid and Entitled Mom joined. Entitled Mom was already kicking off about the line and all the employees and people dressed up for the event. At midnight, they opened the doors and people filed in being very polite. No trampling, which was shocking considering. Entitled Kid, though, kept trying to push me and get past me, but I held firm. Just as I get to the table, there is one book left, which I grab quickly. I can see Entitled Kid try to grab it before me, which sets her off. She immediately tries to pry the book from my hands. Then, when I won't let go, punches me. Didn't hurt. Her form sucked, and she only hit my arm. I was walking towards checkout, ignoring Entitled Mom and her screeching. Something about, I took her baby's book. I caught a glimpse of Entitled Kid charging me. I sidestepped quickly and watched her tackle and faceplant the table. Entitled Mom immediately kicked up more. I just laughed and checked out. An employee asked if I was okay and if I wanted the cops called. I told them no because she really didn't harm me in any way. Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid got escorted out, much to Entitled Kid's screeching. My mom asked me what took so long. Yeah, she was laughing too. Come on, Entitled Kid. Would Hermione approve of that sort of behavior? Absolutely not. Ron wouldn't even approve. you're just being a jerk. And that's all the time we have today for these Entitled Parents stories. If you liked any of the stories or could relate to any of them, make sure to click that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any further stories. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.